Hi guys, today I'm going to be counting down my top 10 favorite looping coasters I've ridden. These are just coasters with loops. There's not like airtime machines like you see Mako. These are just looping coasters I've ridden. So let's get down to the chase, shall we? Starting at number 10 is the Incredible Hulk coaster at Islands Adventure. This is one fantastic roller coaster. Literally, this thing is a powerhouse. You are just speeding through the entire layout, except for the second half. Some people think the second half kills the first half. I definitely see that. I kind of agree with that, but man, that first half is absolutely fantastic. You're just hauling through the first half, and this is personally my favorite coaster at Universal Studios Florida. Man, Islands Adventure did a great job with the Incredible Hulk, and I am very pleased that it's still running to this day. Unlike Dragon Challenge, which that didn't even make this list, but I love the Incredible Hulk, and I'm glad it's still here. Plus, it's very smooth. I love the onboard audio. This thing is just overall flat out fantastic. Taking in the number 9 spot is Manta at SeaWorld Orlando. This is probably will probably be for a while. It's probably be my favorite flying coaster, and it's my favorite flying coaster at the moment. And I just love Manta. First off, it is very intense. Of the coasters at SeaWorld Orlando, I'd say this is the most intense roller coaster at the park. Literally, you were just pulling so many G's, especially the pretzel loop. Like, let's talk about the pretzel loop. Oh my gosh, that thing is insane. I also love how it interacts with waterfalls. I love the theming with the caves and stuff. And just the overall ride is just fantastic. And was very smooth. Yeah. So if you're at SeaWorld, go ride Manta. It is flat out fantastic. Number 8, we have Griffin at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. I was kind of underwhelmed by Griffin. I was actually expecting it to be better than SheiKra. I was kind of surprised when it just wasn't as intense. I mean, I still love it. It was fantastic. It's a great drop, and plus it was very smooth. Yeah, that drop, probably the best drop I've experienced on a roller coaster. But yeah, I love Griffin. Griffin was a fun roller coaster. And right up ahead of Griffin is SheiKra at Busch Gardens Tampa. Of the two dive coasters, I think SheiKra is definitely the better coaster. SheiKra, I just feel like the airtime is better on SheiKra during the drop. Just feel like SheiKra has better airtime. It's also more intense. You know, it doesn't have as many inversions, or it's not as fast, or not as tall. But yeah, plus, I've actually grayed out on this coaster. And also, what makes SheiKra better is its tunnel dive. I love the tunnel dive. I just love it when you're diving into the tunnel, and then you have that splashdown, which is like, if you're next to the splash zone, you are gonna get soaked. Like try that. You will get soaked. Like, look at Logan from Coaster Kids. Look at his videos. He's gone through the splash zone at SheiKra. Man, he got soaked, and I've done that too, and I've got extremely wet. But yeah, SheiKra overall is just flat out amazing. Taking number 6 is the only wooden roller coaster on this list. This is Mind Blower at Fun Spot America, or I'd say Old Town as well. I love Mind Blower. This thing is fantastic. This thing, I'll admit, when I rode it back like a week ago, it was kind of underwhelmed by how rough it was. I didn't think it was rough when I first rode it back in July. I didn't think it was that rough. I thought it was smooth and white lightning. But then I rode in February, I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing got so much rougher. And yeah, I mean, it's not unbearable, it just rattles your bones a bit, but I don't think it takes away from how amazing it's ride. This thing has a very strong layout, where you got amazing airtime. I love that inversion. It's very intense, and just, it's amazing. Yes, it's rough, but the airtime and intensity makes up for it. Starting off our top 5 is Alpengeist at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Yeah, give me the hate. I love Alpengeist. This is one of my favorite roller coasters, and one of my favorite rides at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. I put this second, only behind Apollo's Chariot. But I love Alpengeist. This thing was fantastic. And I've heard some people claim this ride to be very rough. Well, and I actually came to this ride with very low expectations. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as I thought it was. Literally, I was blown away by Alpengeist. And some people think the Cobra roll is the roughest part of the ride. However, I have to admit, it's probably my favorite part of the ride. I love that co-roll. Probably one of the best co-rolls I've experienced. Just you get so much whip on that co-roll. And I don't think it's rough at all. I think it's a pretty smooth coaster overall. It's not perfectly smooth, but it's smooth. And number 4, we have Kraken Unleashed at SeaWorld Orlando. This has always been a favorite of mine. I love Kraken. I think it has a very strong layout with some powerful elements and some terrain dives and tunnels. And also, I really enjoy the VR experience on Kraken. Now, I do prefer to ride without VR. I think it's an overall better experience without the VR. I like the VR, but I prefer without VR. Also, I'm not a big fan of Spot Zero, so if you're trying to ride VR, it'll be quite hard to get on VR because you'll have to reserve a spot for it. However, if you just want to ride the coaster, they let you just go straight on the coaster, which I think is very neat that SeaWorld does that compared to what they did in December, where you basically all the time you had to reserve a spot. But Kraken overall, it's just amazing. It has some very strong elements, especially that zero G roll, which honestly can rival Kumba's Hell Roll. And just overall, I love Kraken. It's always been a favorite of mine and will always be. Now, some people have said this thing is rough, and I can see why, but I honestly don't think it's like painful like some people think it is. Like, I love Kraken. Okay, starting off our top 3 is Afterburn at Carowinds. This ride kicks butt. This is a total kick butt inverted coaster. My second favorite inverted coaster, just behind a coaster that we'll get to later. But of the inverts that I have ridden, this is definitely the most intense. Literally, you are just pulling tons of G-force throughout the entire course. And it's just non-stop action, and all the elements are just back to back to back, non-stop. Man, I love me some Afterburn. This thing is fantastic. Plus, it's very smooth. You do get some headbanging during a corkscrew, but man, this thing is a very smooth coaster, and it is just so much fun. If you go, I didn't think I'd like this ride as much as I did. Definitely one of the best inverted coasters in the world. However, my favorite invert is Monte at Busch Gardens Tampa. Now, I originally liked Afterburn more than Monte, but Monte started to kind of grow on me a little bit. It's just, I think the overall reason why I prefer Monte, yes, it's trim, but I think overall why I like Monte more is just because I just feel like there's more to it. Like, you've got, let's see, you've got some terrain, like, you've got trenches. Like, Afterburn definitely has a better batwing, but I mean, like, especially with the tunnel, but this one has tunnels, but it also has trenches. And I also do love the elements. Like, I love that batwing. That batwing is very intense. And I love all its inversions, especially the zero G roll and vertical loops. And a found corkscrew, like, will just give you so much whip if you're in the back row. If you go in Monte, I say ride the back row. Back row is going to be one heck of an experience. I say in Magic Seats ride, back row to the left. Man, if you sit in that spot, you are in for a ride. It is incredible. Also, I think why I like Monte more than Afterburn is also just a lot longer of a ride than Afterburn is. Afterburn's overall more intense, but Monte is just such a long ride with a good variety of elements. This thing is a buffet of a coaster. If I could say it like that, because there's a lot of elements. But I love Monte. Plus, it's still very smooth for an invert, for its age. It's been out for 20 years. Monte's been out for over 20 years. And is still running very smoothly. And I am glad it is. Okay, taking our number 1 spot is one of my favorite coasters of all time, period. It's Kumba at Busch Gardens Tampa. Oh my gosh, this thing is incredible. Like, I didn't think this was as good as, like, back in 2015 when I wasn't really into enthusiast, I was more GP. I didn't think this ride was as good as I think it is now. But this ride has definitely grown on me a lot. I think why I love Kumba so much is because, well, I mean, yes, it's not the smoothest B&M. It is a little rough, but honestly, the roughness adds to Kumba. I really wish more of these rides existed. I think Kumba is just an old school B&M roller coaster. I'm kind of like upset B&M doesn't make rides like they used to. This coaster is legendary, and I think it's legendary. It is, without a doubt, the most intense coaster I've ever ridden. Period. you feel like you're just grayed out so much on this coaster. It's insane for B&M. I still have yet to ride rides like a 20305 at Sky Rush, but man, this is quite up. This is right up there. Definitely the most intense coaster I've ridden. And plus, I love its elements, like that 0G roll, or commonly referred to as the Hell roll. That thing is flat out insane. It feels like it's going to rip your arms off. And I love that dive loop, which gets some good weightlessness. And it also has the smoothest Cobra roll ever. Like, probably the best Cobra roll in my opinion. Man, like, I've almost blacked out on this coaster so many times. And I love the iconic vertical loop and the corkscrews. There isn't a single weak element on this ride. Each element is just absolutely incredible. And plus, I love that final helix. You go through a tunnel, then you go through this helix. Oh my gosh, that helix is so good. Kumba is just one heck of a roller coaster. And I'm glad I get to ride this coaster a lot. If you're at Busch Gardens, if you have one coaster to ride, go on Kumba. It is flat out incredible. 10 out of 10 in my book. So that will do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Comment down what are your top 10 looping roller coasters. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos in the future. I have playlists of more countdowns, reviews, all this stuff. Don't forget to check out the social media link, and have a theme-tacular day, everyone.